There's a fine line between tough and crazy, and you're flirting with.
There's always a fine line between tough and crazy, and Dom and I always flirt with. This is Tim and Dom from NFL Talk More across the pond and back. We're getting closer to that season. We're getting close to starting football finally. Dom, are you excited? Are you pumped? Are you ready for some football?
I'm excited to see the Giants' first team at some point this side of Christmas.
Well, I don't think you're getting that. I don't think that Daniel Jones is projected to play the entire first half coming in on against the Pats, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at MetLife Stadium this Sunday. When I see it, I'll believe it.
But, well, before we jump into it, though, I have a very important announcement that I have been practicing all day.
Oh, wow.
Except, of course, Chris, when I've been doing my work. At that point, I wasn't practicing it. I was doing my work really, really hard while you were on holiday this week, just in case.
Wait a minute. So your boss is on holiday, and you're doing stuff for the show. I appreciate that. But here we go. We have a big announcement.
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Guten Tag, ich heiße der Duke Funk. Willkommen to NFL Talk from across the pond mit Tim. Danke, dass du uns zum zweitgroßen NFL-Podcast Deutschlander gemacht hast. And if I mess that up, that is all down to my colleague Ed, who taught me that. But that is in honor of our German listeners because we are, Tim?
We are, well, last week, we were the number one NFL, second most downloaded NFL podcast in all of Germany.
And with my pronunciation of all of that German, we are now on number 36.
I was going to say we are no longer on the ranking because you know what they always say?
Gentlemen, what brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Because evidently that's what Dom is doing right now. That was good though, Dom. I gotta give you all the. I gotta give you. Dom. Just Dom. Just for that, I am not gonna play your sound effect today.
You so will.
No, I won't. Just for that, I will not play your sound effect.
Draft, baby. Yeah.
Oh, Dom, why would you do that live? Oh, my God. I said I wouldn't do it, and you just do it live. Oh, my God.
I know.
What the hell's wrong with you?
It's almost as if I had my hand slipped onto a button next to me.
That's what she said. Let's talk some NFL, because I got some things I want to talk about. Preseason. Preseason is course, and that was actually very impressive.
Thanks. All those people listening in Germany are now going to write in to say that I absolutely crucified.
Well, I know that.
I'll apologize for that now, but
I don't want to say anything. But yeah, I know that now. I'll be learning German because I'll be seeing tweets coming in from Germany saying, "Nah, what did he tell me to do to my mom with the goat?" I'm just not saying anything, Dom.
Yeah, I mean, I've trusted Ed implicitly here.
Oh God. Well, at least it wasn't somebody else. At least it wasn't the king of the idiots you were trusting.
Oh God, no.
All right, Dom.
He can barely speak English these days. I mean,
well, we're not too far behind. so let's not pick on him for that. He's an idiot. Chris has got enough problems. All right. You know what? The Bleacher Report, and I think everyone who follows football probably knows Bleacher Report is a website, and they're a pretty successful website, and they do all sports. And they do rankings every year of quarterbacks before the start of the season. So they ranked every starting quarterback in 2021 right now. And I got some questions. About this.
I've not seen this, but how do they know who's starting?
Because they take a basic idea who's starting. I mean, there's really, outside of a couple places, maybe one, there's really no place that you don't know who's really starting.
But Jacksonville have been really clear. It's an open competition.
Yeah. Okay. It's an open competition as long as it's Trevor Lawrence versus Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. Okay. We'll see. And honestly, neither Lawrence or Minshew looked that awesome. It was C.J. Beathard yesterday that looked better against the Saints than any of them combined. But of course, C.J. was playing against, like I said, third stringers and grocery baggers. So we're not going to get into that. But I got a problem with this thing. You go down to the bottom. It's fairly simple. It's fairly standard. It's Tyrod Taylor, 32nd from Houston, Jalen Hurts, 31st, and then Zach Wilson, 30th. I have no problem with that. I think that's probably a good projection. And then you go 29th is Drew Lock, 28 is Tua. I don't agree with that.
I'm not seeing that.
27th is Sam Darnold. Okay, 26 is Jimmy Garoppolo. 25, Andy Dalton. Okay, you're seeing a pattern yet where we're getting to yet. 24 is Cam Newton. 23 is Ryan Fitzpatrick. Number 22 is Trevor Lawrence. And number 21 is Jameis Winston. Number 20 on the list. Are we going to take a guess?
I'm going to go with Mr. Milk Carton.
Yes, I did a video the other day on my other channel where I have a Daniel Jones on a milk carton. And all younger people aren't going to know that back in the day they used to put pictures of missing children on milk cartons. So I just did that. But number 20 is Daniel Jones. I was looking at this, Dom, and I think there is one, as a Giant fan, 1, 2, 3, let's see here, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8, actually. There are 8 quarterbacks on that list. And 8 out of the 12 quarterbacks that I would take over Daniel Jones as a Giant fan.
I mean, look, do I think he's the 20th best? No, I don't. We talked about it before. He needs to prove it this year, and I don't think he's proved it today. He's not the 20th best quarterback at this moment in the NFL. But most importantly, I hate these lists pre-season. I absolutely detest them and think they're completely meaningless because take Justin Herbert, right? I wasn't high on Justin Herbert to start with, but he had a really good season last season. Right. So you're taking it one season, and I don't know where he comes. I haven't seen the list, but I'm going to go. He's definitely top 15, possibly even in and around the top 10.
He's number 11.
11, there you go, in and around top 10. That's one season. One season. Are you judging that off one season? I mean, what kind of analysis is that? Are you doing on potential, or are you doing on what they've done recently? Are you doing on preseason and training camp report, or what are you doing on? And I really hate these lists.
Well, you know what's funny? From 11 to 20, where he sits, Justin Herbert, I would probably take him over. I probably would take him out of over 9 of the people listed between number 11 and 20.
Yeah, possibly. But are you doing that based on what you've seen from him?
I'm doing it based on what we've seen and also potential, because of the fact that I think he is, especially Justin Herbert. I just call him, his friends call him the Duck because him and I are buddies. He had, even when he was at Oregon, I always felt there was something special about him. I wanted the Giants to draft him the year prior to Daniel Jones. The problem is this asshole went back to college. Like I've said before, what kind of dummy goes back to college and gets an education? You're an NFL quarterback. What the hell's wrong with you? But
it turned out okay for him.
Yeah, that's true. There was something special about him in college. He didn't have the most impressive statistics, but if you actually watched him from a logistical standpoint in reference to the way an NFL quarterback should play, he had all the checks. And he had the pocket presence, he had the awareness, he had the ability to read defenses, he had the ability, and this was going into college, to go through his progressions. And also you throw in the fact that he's got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and what's his name, Eckel? I can't remember his name, Austin something, I can't remember the other guy's name. So he's got a plethora of talent around him.
Would you say I have a plethora of piñatas?
No, I don't say a plethora of piñatas, but I say you got a plethora of talent around him. So I think he is going to gel into something special. And like I said, I as a rookie quarterback, his mobility and his ability for his mobility to evade in the pocket and the way he feels the pressure, I haven't seen that from a rookie in years.
No, I mean, I actually do think that Herbert is going to be a success in the league. I was wrong. I didn't think he would be, funny enough. I wasn't high on him. I was completely wrong, and I'm happy to admit that. And I think it's one where he played really well last year. But so did Baker Mayfield year one, and don't get me wrong, I always thought Baker overachieved in year one, and I don't necessarily think Herbert did.
Baker had a bad year in 2, but then he had a great year in 3.
He had a good year in 3, absolutely. But I do think Herbert will be a top quality quarterback. So I think it's possibly a bad example, but I use it because he's going to be really high based on 1 year. And there are possibly quarterbacks below that have been more consistent. I haven't seen the list, as I say, but I agree. I think if you're looking at the people back below Jones.
All right, wait a minute. We're gonna do something here. All right, below him, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
You're taking Matthew Stafford over Herbert.
I would take Herbert because of potential. But
wait. Here we go. Wait a minute. Here we go. Derek Carr.
Yeah, again, on potential with his potential.
Okay, wait a minute. We're not done. Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I'll take him over Mayfield.
Kirk Cousins.
100%.
Let's see here. Big Ben, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, 100% now because he's 306.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Joe Burrows.
Yes, because he's hurt. And I don't think we've seen, but I would say
Jared Goff.
Oh yeah,
or Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, so you just took all 9. You have picked Herbert over the next 9 guys.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, if you look at what they've done in the league for a few years, you might be looking at different people ahead of him. So I'm not knocking him for being 11. Because I think he did really, really well last year. And I think he's got a really, really high ceiling and can only get better. So I'm not knocking his position, but what my point is, he's done it for one season. So if you're doing it based on their NFL career, is he really 11th?
Actually, I believe
has been and is a better quarterback. If
they do these
5 years.
Bleacher Report usually does this list off of offensive value. And they're, what they are going to do statistically in 2021, not what they've done throughout their career.
Yeah, and if there's a clear rationale for it, I can kind of get it. But my point is, I don't really like these lists because what are you basing off, and what's the right way to take it off it? And that's why I don't like the list. So Herbert, I think absolutely you'd have him on your team all day long. There are a couple in there that I'd also like to have on my team because they'd be upgrades on Carr. But sorry, not on Carr, on Jones. But someone like Roethlisberger, he's had a fantastic career, no question, and he looked really good.
Right, but this list is for the 2021 season.
Because he's 206.
Right, but this list is for the 2021 season, not for career totals.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take him for this season either because I don't think he can do it over the course of a season.
No, that's probably why he's down lower on the list.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not taking him over, and I've no issue with Herbert at all. Like, but the point I was making was not about this list, just about lists in general. I just don't like them, unless you're doing it on this is what we have seen this season. Because last season was last season.
Right.
It has no bearing necessarily on this season, and that's the point I was making rather than knocking their list. I just don't like them until.
See, I would have taken Joe Burrows over him. He was the one guy out of the 9 that I would have taken over him. Only because of the fact that I wouldn't,
because you don't know how he's coming back from that leg injury.
He's coming back. He's coming
back. But you don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back.
ACLs and MCL tears are not like they were back in the early 2000s, even in the 90s. They're nothing now. You can come back in 8 months.
It's not the physical injury though; it's the mental. How is he going to mentally come back?
Most player, I can tell you like this from someone that had the injury, had 2 of them.
Twice,
dose ACL replacement, took part of the patella tendon, made it into the ACL. Once the first time you get hit or hit someone, you don't even think about it anymore. There's because you've been playing since Pop Warner, so you don't even think about it anymore. And I like Burrows because of the fact that he's got Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. That are going to
when he's not dropping the ball.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he's having a bad go about it, isn't he, Jamar Chase? But you know what? It's preseason.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. I mean, we'll see where it comes out.
Yeah, but I think I would take Burrows actually over the Duck only because of the fact that I think he's got a higher upside for not career longevity for 2021. I think he's got a higher upside because of the fact that I think he has more explosive weapons, and they addressed the offensive line in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion,
I'd probably take Herbert right now, but I think if you took out the Burrow injury, which is what plays on my mind, I would take him. I would take Herbert over Burrow because of the injury. But you take the injury out, it was not a lot, but I would probably take Burrow. As you say, I think he's got the weapons in there and that slightly higher ceiling, but I don't think there's a lot in it.
Yeah,
but anyway, the main point I wanted to make is I don't like these lists.
That's a long. Well, it's funny. If we don't talk about things like these lists, the podcast is going to sound like this. So you kind of have to talk about this stuff, Dom.
I know.
Draft, baby.
I'm happy to talk about them. I just don't like the lists.
Oh, dumb.
That was my first ever rant, was over these blinking lists.
Dumb. What are you trying to kill us? Were you trying to take us down to the number 32nd podcast?
I already did that. I tried to speak German.
We're already not doing good in Zimbabwe, so I mean we got to work on that as well. But I'm still looking for. Oh, here we go. As we're talking, we are going through the it is cut down day because this is we're doing this on Tuesday, so you got to get down to from 85 to 80 today, and I'm trying to see if there's any.
Is that like going down from Tom Brady to Ben Roethlisberger in terms of age?
That's true. Oh, Isaiah Ford got cut by the Dolphins. He's a wide receiver. Yeah. I thought he would have made it. Let's see.
I'm surprised to see him cut so early. I mean, I'm not necessarily surprised to see him not make a roster, but to be cut this week is a surprise.
Corey Ballentine, former Giant, got cut by the Jets. That just happened. Let's see here. Let's see if there's any other big names on this list. I am scanning the news wire as we speak because it was at 4:00 and it's now 4:25. Let's see here. I'm just looking for offensive line help for the Giants. I mean, literally, he's got to be somebody. Really, there's no.
I nearly had to suit up on Sunday. It was getting a close thing.
You know what? The Giants' offensive line played second string offensive line played pretty
well. To be fair,
they played pretty well. I got to give them. Lorenzo Neal Jr. got cut from the Broncos. He's a defensive tackle. His dad used to be a fullback in the league.
I must admit, I had a low bar for where I thought we'd perform on Sunday on that line, but it did do quite well. It
did do quite well. Let's see. Now the Giants have not they have not said who they've cut. They did have two players that were injury waived. So, but I'm not seeing any. To your point, I'm not seeing any names. Javion Leak, who is the running back out of Maryland, who was in Detroit, is gone. He had a cup of coffee with the Giants last year. But I'm not seeing any big names right now. I mean, I'm hoping.
But it's not a surprise. You're seeing 32 times 5. It's and with an 80-man roster still.
Yeah,
expecting any big guys to go.
What's going to be a killer is when they got to get down to 53. When they got to go from 80 to 53. I mean, that's going to be a bloodbath that day. That's just going to they're just going to get. But I don't see anything.
And the immediate days afterwards, when people are picking them up off waivers, and you end up with 5 or 6 roster changes.
You know what I think. You know what sucks the most about that is that you think you make an NFL team, and I've actually seen this firsthand, and it's not a pleasant thing to say. You think you make the roster because you're part of them. You're part of the 53. Then cut down day happens, and then you always have the bubble guys that are on. You always had like the 50 guy from 51, 52, and 53 on the roster, and you think you're safe, you think you're making it, and then they sign someone who just got cut someplace else who hasn't been in camp, and then they cut you. I've seen that firsthand. It's not a pleasant thing to view. I always thought that sucked.
It was a conversation. It was a question I was going to ask you next week, funny enough, because of the big cut down. But what is the atmosphere like on that big cut day?
You know what? It depends on who you are. If you're a veteran, a lot of times it's coming. It's the guys that are from Ramapo College that are trying to make the roster, and they want to go. They're always sweating bullets, and there's always a thing where they. It was on Hard Knocks and all that. I haven't really watched. I've watched one episode of that, and back in the old days, it used to be, one of the assistant coaches would come knocking on your dorm and tell you, "Hey, head coach wants to see you. Bring your playbook," which automatically always meant you got cut. Back, I was early 2000, so it's probably changed since then. But it's kind of the same thing. One of the assistant coaches finds you, and they tell you to go to the coach's office. They don't tell you to bring your playbook. But they tell you to go to the coach's office. And I've seen some guys go to the coach's office, go there to be told that they were staying on the team. But the majority of the time, if you're going to go see the coach, you're getting cut. So, and I've only worked with 2 coaches, so I can only go by what they do. And they always spoke to the people personally that cut them. So, I mean, it's not a great day after the last preseason game because the following day you're going to have to make the cut. So, I mean, everyone's kind of on edge. I think that's the nicest way to put it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're Aaron Donald, you're not terribly worried, but I think that's kind of what I expected it to be like. And then, that like you say, that euphoria around the fact that you've you've made a team and then finding your cut a couple of days later because someone else come in must be one of the most gutting experiences.
Oh, it's not because, and like I said, when I was there, some of these guys you kind of build a relationship with, you know, and especially because I did a lot of film work. So I ran the XOS digital film systems for them. So I sat in these meeting rooms with these guys, you know, you joke around with them, you know, everything else. And then, you know, the next day they're gone and there's someone in their spot. And you're just like, well, what the hell, man? I just, you know, you're not going anywhere. But it's just like, you know, it kind of, it's.
You build those relationships, you say.
Yeah, because some of these guys, like I said, because especially with the players, because of the fact that when you run the film, because you always have to run it back and you have to go here and run it back again and they show certain plays and you show certain nuances. So you're actually, you know, they'll tell you, hey, okay, Tim, I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to go here. And, you know, you're in the room with these guys sometimes 4 or 5 hours at a time a day. You know, so I mean, it's you kind of build a simpatico relationship, especially with the guys that are, you know, that are trying to make the roster because they're in the film room usually more than anybody else. But well, guys that really want to make the team are, so you feel kind of bad, you know, when they get whacked.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and particularly for those young guys that haven't made their millions, it must be even harder.
Well, you know, the thing is, people think everyone in the NFL is a millionaire because they see like the average salary is like $3.2 million.
But how many are on league minimum contracts?
Well, that's the thing, and people also forget you pay your federal taxes, you pay state, and most people don't know this. You pay state taxes in every state that you play in. So if you live in New Jersey and you go to Texas, you pay the state entertainer fee. It's called an entertainer tax to play in that state. So you have to, and that's why I say you need. Not only do you have to pay your accountant, because they got to figure this out. You also have, you know, 10% usually goes to your agent. Another 40% goes to taxes. You know, so it's not like these guys who here even making $750,000 or getting $750,000. You know, I don't feel sorry for anyone's going to, you know, works 18 weeks and make $300,000, but still, you know, you're not getting these contracts that you think some of these players are getting.
Yeah, no, exactly. You know, if someone, you know, been around the league for 10 years gets cut, but they've been earning a couple of mil a year after taxes, you know, they're probably all right. But these guys have been on, this is their second year in the league on those league minimum contracts getting cut, you know, it must be so much more gutting, I would have thought.
Oh, yeah. You know, speaking of a player that just got paid, and this, I want to bring this up because it's a New York guy. It's not a Giant. Robbie Anderson with the Carolina Panthers just signed an extension for $29.5 million. $20.5 that guaranteed. He's 28 years old. He caught 95 passes last year for over 1,000 yards, only 3 touchdowns. It was his first season with the Panthers. He was scheduled to make $8 million this year. They got him on the cheap last year because of everything that went on with the Jets. You know, because the Jets just, you know, the Jets are the Jets. But I mean, it's shocking to me that this guy got, after everything he went through, he got $29 million. I mean, he had a couple good seasons. This guy's an undrafted free agent too, out of Temple. I mean, he only had one 900-yard season with the Jets, but you know, he had 500, 900, 700, 700 yards before he went on to Carolina and kind of found his way. But Dom, is that contract ridiculous for him considering? Now, I will say his best season was with Sam Darnold, some of his best seasons, but is that crazy to give Robbie Anderson $29 million?
I think this is how it went in Carolina. So Robbie went up to Sam and said, hey, Sam, you know, we're mates. I need a new contract. I need a pay rise. Any chance you can go to the coach? And he'd go, it's all right, I've got you covered. I'll go to the coach. And also I've got this film of Matt Rule. He's definitely not going to want it to come out. So let's go together. And that's how he got the contract. I mean, that is allegedly.
You know what? And I'm going to rephrase that with that is allegedly, and that is the express opinion of Dom. That does not hold the express opinion of anyone else here at NFL Talk from across the pond and back.
Oh, dear me. No, obviously I jest, but I mean, it does seem a bit of a big contract to be giving him. I suppose they are thinking that his relationship with Darnold means that they are going to get a heck of a lot out of him this year, and they're banking on that relationship working. But I would be probably wanting to see that before I paid it. But fair play. Whenever someone gets paid, you can't begrudge him it, and fair play to him. But I think that seems a little bit high to me.
Oh yeah, I don't begrudge anyone getting their cash, but $29 million, 20 guaranteed for Robbie Anderson.
How many years did you say it was?
2 years, 2 years, $29 million. He's getting $20 million of that is guaranteed.
I thought you said over 3.
No, 2 years. He right now this season he's going to make $8.5 million. This is a contract extension, so it doesn't kick in until next year.
Jeez, that is I saw even over 2 years I thought it was a bit over 3 years I thought it was a bit high. Over 2, that's definitely high.
Oh wait, we have breaking news. The Giants have made some
barbecue one.
The Giants have made some moves here. And it is literally nobody. Carson Tinker, the contract for the long snapper, got terminated. Some other guy, I don't even know.
Did I get cut?
John should have made the team. I thought Rice and John. I thought he was going to make the team. Rice and Johns and Quincy Wilson both got cut earlier, and then one of the defensive backs got cut. No, it's nobody.
I'm still on the roster. Good news.
You're still on the roster. You know, it's funny. Everyone talks about this guy with the Giants, David Sills. David Sills is 25 years old. He comes from West Virginia. He was a former quarterback. He became a receiver, and he's been kind of like the golden boy of the Giants training camp in the last 2 years. And everyone's talking about how wonderful he is and how great he is. And I laugh because he leads the team with 6 receptions in 2 preseason games. And the guy, Rice and Johns, who got cut because he was injured, actually had the same amount of receptions but more yards than David Sills. But Dom, I think you should make the team over David Sills. So Giants aren't really cutting.
I'm not commenting on David Sills because it's got me into a bit of trouble this week. But yeah. Look, if he makes a team, then he makes a team. Fair play to him, but he wouldn't make my team. I take others.
No, I mean there's other guys on the team that I'm not saying deserve a chance, but he's 25 years old. You've never played in an NFL game. All the times you've gone up against any type of competitions, it's like I say, it's third and fourth teamers and grocery baggers. When he went up against the Cleveland Browns #1 secondary, he couldn't gain separation. He didn't catch a pass, and one pass he dropped during the scrimmage. So I mean, it's whatever. Whatever. What do we know? We're just some dummies that have a podcast. But the only thing I also wanted to talk about just briefly, is someone that I thought was going to go to the Giants, and I'm only crowing about this because he's a Buffalo Bill, and he's a guy that people doubted me for thinking he could be anything, and that's Mr. 305, Gregory Rousseau, out of Miami, who of course went 30th overall to the Buffalo Bills, made Sewell of the Lions look like a fool. All of a sudden, all these NFL scouts
the first offensive tackle off the board as well.
Yeah, they're sitting there saying we've never seen this explosiveness. We've never seen the strength that he's displaying. And I say one thing: watch the film in Miami. Don't go by the combines. You watch the film in Miami. The way he plays as an interior offensive lineman at times. I always say, and I said this: he's going to be hell on wheels as an outside pass rusher. And he's large. He's a large man with a big wingspan that I can tell you right now can set the edge against the run, so it's not off tackle left, it's not off tackle right. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is, Dom, what happened to the Giants on Sunday against the Browns? Those first 2 series.
I think it's possible we got burned to the left and burned to the right on the run on every single.
And it wasn't like 4 or 5 yards. It was like 9, 15, 12. It was almost predictable.
Just on Rousseau though, I think for me, I sort of saw him as a projected talent because he was a bit raw. But if you got that talent out of him, the ceiling was incredibly high, and it was a fairly low risk pick. But and that Bills edge rusher is just incredible this year, by the way. But the man he was up against, Sewell. Any idea? I didn't see it at the weekend. I don't know if they moved him back to left tackle, but they've been playing at right tackle. Is he? I don't know if he played there this weekend.
I believe he's still.
Why on earth would you move him across the right tackle that he hasn't played?
It doesn't matter. It's not like you're moving the guard. It's not like left tackle to right tackle. It's actually right tackle is easier because you're not protecting the blind side of the quarterback. So, and usually the best pass rushers are placed on the left-hand side unless you have a left-handed quarterback. So it's actually easier to play. I wanted to move Andrew Thomas with the Giants last year at right tackle because I figure it would build him up some confidence before. And that's why I was hoping that Nate Solder wasn't going to opt out last year because I would rather have him at left tackle. I said, and then have Andrew Thomas at right tackle, because like I said, it's the nuances are pretty much the same. You were just not usually going up against the best pass rushers.
So you think this is deliberate to ease him into the NFL? I think it's tackle, as opposed to he's really not doing well, and therefore we're moving to right tackle because he's not a player.
No, I think it was to help him to build his confidence and not put him in a position kind of like we put Andrew Thomas in, the Giants did last year. But
interesting, because it was I sort of saw him playing right tackle and thought that's odd, because this should be their franchise left tackle.
Yeah, I mean, the players do that. Sometimes they do that just to, like I said, just to make sure that they don't get shell shock. Because like I said, I've always said this before, the 3 toughest positions in the NFL is going to be your quarterback, a cornerback as a defensive cornerback, and your left tackle. Those are 3, to me as a rookie, those are the 3 most difficult positions that come in and play.
Although if you're Cole and a wide receiver, playing cornerback wasn't too difficult.
Matt Cole, man, people that don't watch a Giants and the Cleveland game, Matt Cole, who is a wide receiver and special teamers, was playing cornerback and actually looked better than some of the Giants.
After one training session as well, right?
It was crazy the way he was tackling too. The Giants have a linebacker named Devontae Downs. He is nowhere near now. And if anyone's got a video of somebody, it's Devontae Downs, because there's no way he should be on an NFL roster as a starting NFL linebacker. To a point where the first quarter, he tried to tackle someone out of bounds, and I'm going to show Dom. He just put his arms out like this, like wide, and tried to chest bump them out of bounds and missed.
I believe he was doing an impression of my daughter thinking she's an aeroplane by putting her arms out.
You know what?
Just out and running around.
She might have made the tackle. But Cole, and I even did a video about it. He led with his shoulder. He wrapped around. He drove the guy into the ground.
Didn't he have something like a crash course the night before on how to play?
Well, I think for a couple days
he went out there and played.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing.
Which I'm sure is a slight exaggeration, but even so.
But he could play wide receiver. He could return. He played on offense, defense, and returned a kickoff. So, and the good thing about David Sills is he does none of those.
Yeah, but I mean, back to your point, I think you're right. Those 3 positions are the hardest. Like you played the game, but a lot of people say they're the 3 hardest to transition to. So it's just interesting to hear why you think they're playing right tackle.
I think they're just playing it just to keep it, just to build them up. Just especially it's you're not really going to go anywhere in Detroit. You got Jared Goff as your quarterback, and he's skittish enough as it is. So you got to give him some sense of I'd say comfort. But like I said, Sewell looked like a fool against Mr. 305. Just throwing that out there, Giant fans. Just throwing that out there.
We shall see. But that Bills edge rush, by the way, is looking on paper immense.
It's going to be scary. It's going to be beyond scary.
Draft, baby. Uh-oh. Yeah.
What was that? We're closing in on 45 minutes already. So that means that Dom is going to take over. We're not doing the Dom final thought. We are doing the Dom lightning round picks. Lightning round
baby.
Talk.
Yeah.
Dom, we wait all week to hear what Dom has to say and what he's going to bring up and what's going on in Dom's mind. It's a scary place. I love your T-shirt though. We have to start putting these videos on YouTube so people can see your attire.
I know my friend Bowen got me this T-shirt, and it says the sarcasm is strong in this one.
I like that one. I like that T-shirt a lot. Actually, I need like 5 of those. I always love when people, when they listen to my other videos and they get mad at me and they're like, "Wow, you said this and you said that," and I literally have to write in quotes, "It was sarcasm." I was being sarcastic, guys.
There's a great scene, I've told you this before, in a show called The Big Bang Theory, when he was like, one of the characters doesn't get sarcasm. He's like, "You need to hold up a sign or something," and the other, or something like that. And the other character literally writes sarcasm on a piece of paper and holds it up.
You know, it's funny. I always make the joke that I'm going to have a sarcasm button, that I'm going to alert people when sarcasm is about to happen, because I think I have to, because so many people are like, "Well, that's just mean."
I'm a little bit concerned for that button. It might get worn out.
Oh my god, it might.
Anyway, I'd like to nip down to Dallas.
Sure.
Dak Prescott, he's got paid by not playing, ironically, last season. But what is going on there for him? So he's barely practicing.
Right.
I think it's Chris Sims has been saying this week that there's a distinct change in the way he's throwing, almost like he's trying to protect that shoulder too much. It looks like there's lots of reports in the last few days that he might not be 100% fit for the whole season, not because of a leg now, but because of a shoulder. And they're getting baseball teams checking him out because it seems like he's got some kind of pitcher's injury. I mean, what happened to Dallas if he can't throw this year? Seriously, I mean, what is their plan B, and what do you think is going on there with Dak?
They actually came out and said just the other day that he's fine, that he's not going to have any injury, that the injury is not going to is not going to affect his start of the season. I don't know. This was just like
the reassuring tweet that said he's going to have a second scan, but there's no need to panic. All is going to be fine. Which immediately would get me panicking if I was reading that as a Cowboys fan. By the way.
I know, but I think they're saying that everything was fine. I don't, they could say whatever the hell they want, but that's what they're saying.
But there's a heck of a lot of reputable reporters saying it's not going to be fine, and that's what they're hearing from inside the building.
No, I know. I know.
And there's only one way to find out, which is what happens on week 1. Does he lead the team, and can he throw that ball? But I mean, if he can't, what is their plan?
Their plan is to draft a quarterback in 2022.
But I mean, how are they going to get through this season? I mean, presume they're going to have to go out and draft and trade for someone because Cooper Rush is probably going to be the backup there. Maybe
there's going to me in my mind is as a Giant fan, it's the greatest thing in the world because that gives.
I'm not crying about it.
No, that gives us two. That gives us 2 more wins.
That's a concern.
That if I was Dallas, that would be a concern. Yes, I would not be. I would not be happy. I would not be ecstatic to be a Dallas fan right now. But like I said, until the official word comes down that it's that it's something to worry about, and then that's what I'll have an issue.
Any other teams you think are more reliant on their? I mean, all teams to some extent are quite reliant on their quarterback. But any other teams that stand out for you that go, if their quarterback goes down, they've got nothing. Not just in terms of backup, but in terms of their plan B to revert to a running game.
Well, right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, if something happens to Daniel Jones, the Giants have got nothing. I'm not sitting there.
You might have nothing with Daniel Jones.
I'm not. Yeah, it's true. I'm not sitting there thinking that Brian Lewerke or Mike Glennon are going to be these superstar heroes.
No, but in theory, if Saquon were to come back, you could have a running game to try and base it around, to try and make that load easier for the quarterback. Because I think that's true for most quarterbacks, that the backup is nowhere near.
The only problem I have with that theory is you're a guy's coming off an ACL. He's probably not going to get more than 10, 15 touches for like 4 or 5 weeks.
So
we could be 0-5. We could be 0-5 before that happens.
We could be. I'm using that as an example of a team that there is a clear backup strategy. If the quarterback goes down, you can't really be throwing it around. And it's a bad example because, as you say, Saquon is probably not getting the field till week 3, probably not getting full carries, potentially to week 6, 7, 8.
I'm going to tell you right now,
how that ACL feels.
2 other teams, I can tell you right off the top of my head, or 3 other teams, if something happens, they get screwed, is going to be Pittsburgh, because then you're going to be relying on Dwayne Haskins. Cincinnati, to me, would be done without Joe Burrows. Washington, if they lost Fitzpatrick, I think that would just be a train wreck, because Fitzpatrick, you're already relying on Fitzpatrick because there's really nothing behind him. So I think that's a train wreck waiting to happen. And then I can't think. I just had a 4th team in my head. Minnesota Vikings. Those are the teams. If they lost Kirk Cousins, I think those are the 4 teams I think off the top of my head that would immediately have massive issues.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of teams that would have an issue out there, but I can't think who the running back is now in Minnesota. Could they not go
what's
through?
His name? Oh my God, it's Delvin. I can't think.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. Thank you.
But I mean, in theory, they could potentially revert to him and get some kind of offense.
Problem is, you don't have a quarterback that has somewhat of a presence. You're going to put 8 in the box.
Then you stack the box, and it makes it harder, right? Yeah.
I mean,
exactly that.
Especially then, that's why I worry about what's going to happen with the Giants if Daniel Jones doesn't progress, and with Saquon Barkley, they're going to put 8, 9 in the box.
Yeah.
and dare them to throw. And I tell you right now, not many teams are like, ooh, Daniel Jones is going to throw on us.
Yeah, I mean, it's what made that Seattle win last year quite impressive. We had really one. I mean, I'm slightly paraphrasing here, slightly simplifying. We had one chance to make the throw, and in fair play to Colt McCoy, he made the throw. We ran it, came out early. If I'm doing this from memory, but came out early second half and made the throw.
Right.
To get the points, and then relied on our defense to get us through.
Oh, I agree 100%.
But yeah, I just think that's starting to become a worry if I'm Dallas. But anyway, I shall move on swiftly.
Oh, we're moving on swiftly.
Well, unless you had more, but
no. I like when we move on swiftly.
The other team, by the way, that I had was Chargers. If Herbert goes down after you crucified me earlier, but I'm going to very, very swiftly move to Foxborough and Cam Newton, who now appears to have breached some COVID protocol rules and is now missing training for 4 days. And I'm not going to go into COVID. No one wants that. We've probably had enough of it for the last 18 months or so. But I think that is going to be interesting. The COVID impacts on teams this year could be really, really interesting. But I appreciate your view. So I'm going to give my views afterwards. But whatever's happened, whether it's his mistake, team mistake, bit of both, doesn't matter. Does this give Matt Jones a real opportunity now to take that starting job, or do you still think it's Cam?
I laugh because I think it's still Cam, but I think to the point that they may be like, this is the way to get Jones to start by saying he breached protocol. I'm not saying that he did it. I'm not saying that that's what they're doing. I just think it's interesting, I guess, that this happens at this point in time, because Daniel Jones breached protocol last year during the height of COVID and everything was hunky-dory. Now all of a sudden it's Cam does it and it's like, ooh, we're gonna have to bench him and suspend him, especially when you got a guy that you want to start anyways.
I think the league rules kind of now say he has to, right? Because presumably he's unvaccinated because they apply to unvaccinated players.
Yes.
And because he didn't have a test at the facility, he's a 5-day not suspension, but he can't come back in to make sure he's healthy. Whereas I don't know what the rules were last year around Daniel Jones. But I think you touched on a point here, which is this story becomes a bigger story because it's Cam Newton.
Right.
Who is not the star he was 5 years ago, but is still a big name, big personality in the league.
If he was the star he was 5 years ago, this would not even be an issue.
No. But he's a big name, big personality, and he's in a competition, and therefore it becomes news. What I do think is that if he wasn't clear on the rules, he damn well should have been, because he is in a competition, whether he likes it or not. He might get the week one start, but he's on the hot seat for keeping that job. And that seems mental to me, that you want to be the leader of that team, the leader of that offense, and you breach one of the rules like that and jeopardize that opportunity. But yeah, particularly when you're on such a small contract comparatively. Well,
I was about to say the same thing. If you're comparing his contract, it's not good.
No,
I mean it's not a good look for Cam. I mean does this mean this is going to be the end of his reign? I think in a lot of ways that New England's just looking for a way to get rid of him.
Yeah, I think so. I think the way their system is normally set up, it's more suited to Mac Jones than it is to we touched on it last week,
right?
Than Newton. So possibly that's exactly what it is. But yeah, I found that an interesting story, that it's such big news, and I'm convinced it's because it's Cam Newton rather than another quarterback. Andy Dalton, for instance.
I agree 100%. I think that's exactly what it is. I think you nailed that right on the head. I think that's exactly what it is. I mean, and I think I like I said, I don't want to sit there and be a conspiracy theorist, because we all know it's I'm not sitting here. Belichick said, "Hey, I'm going to call the league, have to suspend have to suspend Cam Newton so I can start Mac Jones." But you never know.
I wouldn't put it past.
Just like you never know. You know what I mean? Really, I mean, it's bad to say, but you don't really know.
I'm finding it amusing that you're talking about conspiracy theories with the basement background you've got behind you. Well,
it's because
you're in your mother's basement and you're talking about conspiracy theories.
Because there are conspiracy theories.
I see where this is going.
Oh my God. That is too funny. Yeah, there's no conspiracy theory. I don't see a conspiracy theory.
No, I don't either. I just think it was either a misunderstanding of the rules by either the team, the player, or both, and that's how we've ended up where we've ended up.
Yes, I agree 100%.
And one more quick one
Sure.
Before my final thought, which is I heard an idea today, which is interesting, but I don't think is likely. But hey, if it happens, it would be really interesting to see. Which is the Saints, where someone said that Winston and Hill might want to do a job share where Winston takes the ball up to the red zone, at which point Taysom Hill comes in to take over, and that's how they run their plays this year. I mean, I'd be surprised to see that happen, but I wondered what your views were on that idea, on whether you think it likely, and B, if it happened, that would be, I imagine, quite novel. I can't think of another example where that's happened on a regular basis before, but your take on it, I can't see it, but your take on it would be interesting.
I mean, I don't see it. I mean, I don't think my take's gonna be that interesting. I don't see it, I guess. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I can't see it. Presumably the thought process is that Winston will march you down the field, because I'm not a fan of Taysom Hill.
No, I know you're not. That's why I wanted to ask you.
But presumably the point was that you can trust Taysom Hill to make those short throws, but you've also got his legs and athletic ability to try and run it into the end zone from there if need be. Presumably that would be the thought process behind why you do it that way. But I don't see it. I think
I don't see it either.
You name your starter, and that's your starter.
But I was only, like I said, I was only bringing it up because I know your affinity for Taysom Hill. I know how much you. I know how much you like it. So that's why I was kind of curious about that.
Yeah, not at all. I Winston all day long. I'd rather risk 306 interceptions a season.
I don't know though. But you know what? Just with Winston, he's a Florida guy. I'm a Florida guy. He was in Tampa. I'm a Tampa guy.
I like Winston. I think he's entertaining.
And you know what? I just laugh because it's like I don't. It's not that I don't want him to succeed. I just get worried because, to your point, he set a record his last starting year in Tampa where he never threw a ball out of bounds. I mean, he literally.
I've forgotten that actually.
Yeah,
now you mention it,
he never threw a ball out of bounds. Never.
I've forgotten that stat. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that is unheard of. I mean, never threw a ball. Think about it. You throw the ball 640 times,
and not once
did you just chuck it out of bounds. How crazy is that?
I've forgotten that stat actually. I thought you were going to say you were worried because of his decision making with all those interceptions.
Well, that's part of.
That's also a worry. Right?
That's part of the decision making process.
I think that will get better, by the way, this year as it happens. But I think he'll be fun. But I think
it'll be fun to watch.
But anyway, I was like, I can't see that happening. But I just thought that was an interesting theory and an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think
ready
it is.
for my final thought whenever you are.
Draft, baby. Yeah.
Dom's final thought.
And it's got to be quick because otherwise you'll be in trouble for not lighting the barbecue.
Yeah, well, you got time because I'm doing 15 things at once here. That's just the way I roll.
I mean, I'm glad I've got your rapt attention. I'm
sorry, did you say something?
I was going to say something that would get me in trouble with my wife. I'm not saying that. Moving swiftly on.
Moving swiftly forward.
I want to go to the capital and not London, and I think tickets are actually available tomorrow or Thursday. I need to double check for the London game. Or one of the London games at least tomorrow. But anyway, that's me doing. I want to revisit Washington because again they came up this week because they are still. Oh my god!
I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going with this. But go ahead. I want to hear this stuff.
They're down to 3. They're getting there. I'm really hoping that their front 7 are as slow as the decision making around the name this year. But they're down to 3. They are getting there, and we should have a decision by Christmas 2025.
Oh my god! Is
this getting ridiculous or what? Either shut up or pick one. Like,
you know what kills me though about this? They're not telling us what the 3 are.
They're the Washington football team, the Washington football team, or the Washington football team, and they're still trying to decide which of the 3 they want.
Don't you think you would tell people? or give us an idea of what what it is, or just an idea, just a general idea.
You're not teasing the latest drama on a Sunday night where you're teasing it to make people tune in. Like, I think even the fans are like, I'll care when they pick a team name.
Right. But that's what kills me. You can't just give us like a hint. I mean, why is it a state secret? I mean, is it something that we're not, and that's kind of what I was trying to figure with, I don't know.
I mean, I'm finding it really amusing, which is why I bring it up. I couldn't care less what their name is. I'm even fine with them, funny enough, taking their time over it, but stop putting it out there. Like, what is it doing? What benefit is it having? Other than presumably pissing off Washington football team fans who just want to know what their team is going to be called.
Right. I mean, but I mean, and I don't know. I don't. Like I said, I don't want to. I don't want to sit there and I don't want to belittle anybody. In reference to this,
it's a big decision, right? Because. Look, you need to get the branding right, the labeling right, because there's a lot of money in it for the team.
Right, and that's true, 100%.
Decision. So I don't mind the slowness of it. I don't even mind you going, hey, these are our 8 finalists. I find it a bit ridiculous what we've got. We've got 50 finalists, 30 finalists, 20 finalists, 8 finalists. It's not whatever the talent shows are called. I'm not a big talent show. We have the X Factor, which is a singing thing. I don't watch it, but you presumably have the equivalent in the States.
Yeah, because isn't that with Simon Cowell?
Yeah.
He does whatever it's called, not Dancing with Stars, whatever it's called.
I have no idea. I think they finally binned it in this country, but I'm not. I've never watched it, so I'm not that bothered. But it's not that. It's not a freaking talent show where you're whittling down. Just take your time, fine. Just do it. But anyway, it has amused me this week that they came out with that. But it has tickled me that this is still going on.
Well, again, that's something you need to tickle you. That's something you got to talk to your wife about, not me. I'm just throwing that out there. But
thankfully, she doesn't listen to the show because she listens to me enough at home. But for anyone that knows my wife has listened to the show, please don't tell her that.
Please don't tell. I was going to say you might want to stay away from that. But I like you said. I mean, honestly, and this is funny that you bring this up because I am kind of curious about your. I am kind of curious about this thought about about this right now as well. Why do you think they're keeping it a state secret?
I mean, presumably the thought process about it is let's make this a story and get people interested and people talking about it, which actually I am now doing. So in some ways it has worked. But I mean, I can't understand the logic beyond that. If that, anything beyond that being the reason I'm
only asking because they've said the names that they have eliminated. And, to me, it's like, okay, you're telling me the names that you have eliminated, but you're not going to tell me the names you're thinking about. I mean, do we think that some of these names are so crazy and so wacky that it's like...
Well, you mean the first Capital football team?
I like the first Capital football team.
I actually didn't mind that one.
I'm actually...
It's a bank or an insurance company over here.
Yeah, but I'm actually high on that one. I'm actually down on that one. I'm not down on that one. I'm actually pretty high on that one.
I mean,
believe it or not,
the weed conversation we had before we went live, where I was talking about weed in the garden, and you thought I'd been doing something else. And I meant pulling out the thorns out of the flower bed.
Oh, dumb.
But I mean, we'll see it. But I don't understand beyond that. Must be the thought process that it will build intrigue. It presumably is not. But anyway.
But here's the thing. I have a question about building the intrigue. They're building the intrigue to the point that they're not saying when they're even going to say they're not releasing it this year.
Nope.
So what intrigue are you building?
Yeah, because people are going to forget that you built the intrigue 12 months from now when you announce a team name.
Right, exactly, and that's kind of what I'm laughing about. And I'm not trying to laugh. I'm not trying to laugh at him, but
I am.
I know you are. I know you are, but I'm not trying to say that it's good or bad or right or wrong. But to me, it's just plain Washington D.C.
I mean, it is amusing me, and it will amuse me up to the point that their edge rush absolutely destroys us in a game. But because that is a scary front seven. But
you know what, yeah. You know what, Dom? You're gonna make me close it out right there because I can't believe you just talked about the Giants and Redskins. Oh no! I gotta listen to Tim and Dom on the line. with NFL Talk across the pond and back. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week, and thanks for listening.